Hey everybody, so I wanted to take a more live review format where I reviewed the weekly Shonen Jump titles as they're being released each week. So if you guys like this and I can actually physically do this, then I will try to give my thoughts each week as the series come out. So the structure of these reviews will basically be I'll give a quick recap, I will give my thoughts on the chapter, and then the overall ranking as if I'm turning in the surveys at the end. And then I may add more to the format, possibly also reviewing some of the Jump Plus titles. So I read those every week as well, or they may be a separate thing. We'll see. Naturally, there will be spoilers, as I will be going through each of the chapters the week that they come out, and they will be the most recent chapters, so you have been warned. This was an awesome chapter, which featured a really cool two-spread of everyone fighting. Also, the last page goes so hard. I'm really hyped for next week's chapter. I'm genuinely curious to see how the author is going to get his characters out of the situation. I think he's kind of built up a kind of overpowered and unbeatable character, as it's been shown that even breaking him down to the cellular molecular level doesn't complete his trial. So I'm very curious as to how this is going to be resolved. It looks like he's going to be a more recurring character, coming, farther along, and maybe will be around for multiple arcs, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. So I am a sucker for Akane-Banashi, and this recent arc has been just awesome. So I always seek it out early in the reading of the Sunday updates. As you can see, I've read it second, and even when One Piece is being released, it will not be any lower than second or third on my read list. Hoo boy, this week was a doozy. So Isho doesn't give Akane time to make her request, but instead dips out while dropping this huge bomb that she and Kaisai will be responsible for half of his annual event meant only for his school, which means that Akane would officially be acting as a student of his school in public, which is clearly something that Akane does not want to do. However, this is a key opportunity for her to learn more about Shigemu's art. I love the way that Akane's relationship with Isho has been made so complicated. The dude is basically throwing out villain aura 24/7, and Akane can't help but detest the idea of being his official apprentice. But she also has had to acknowledge that the man has been training her in his own way, and it's been effective. Now that she's planning on doing this event, I'm really curious as to what story she's going to eventually go with and how it's going to be received. Next is Sakamoto Days. By the way, how about in the last chapter when that rando just grabbed the guy while he was driving the truck? Honestly, it's one of my favorite recurring jokes in this manga or any manga, is the fact that all of the background characters just don't care. I mean, people are blowing crap up, there's assassins flying through the window, and they're just like, oh, there's a breeze. So the highway fight continues, and Kindaka gets taken out because he gets distracted by Sakamoto twitching in his sleep. Hard-boiled then jumps in after giving the wheel to Atari, which is a bad idea because her luck has run out, which causes all four tires of the truck to spontaneously pop at the same time. She then flies into the car with Torres, who understands how bad her luck is, and who should appear but Shishiba and Osaragi. Yes! The goats are back. A great chapter, super funny. I do understand that there is mangaka culture for weekly series, that you need to produce your chapter no matter what. But I still remember a few chapters ago, 2 or 3 chapters in a row, mind you, where the mangaka clearly released rough draft versions of his chapters, and not just 1 page or 2 page. We're talking multiple pages. One of the chapters, it seemed like half of the chapter was his rough drafts. I know that it's not unprecedented. In fact, JJK happened quite a few times, but he never took a break, and I find that to be a little weird, because I assume it was for health reasons that he wasn't able to produce. And even though the most recent chapters have been quite good, I still look at that a little bit askance. Like, is everything okay? Anyways, you can see the fight has not gone well for Azami, as the enchanted blades are just too OP. This chapter delves further into this problem that's been happening with the force field, where some other person is able to link to the force field, which is causing all of these problems. And the main person in charge of the force field decides that he just wants to be killed. So they're able to change that dynamic and call in help, basically. Instead, Hakuri takes the force field guide to his storage space, which achieves the same objective. Shiba then jumps in and then immediately brings Yura out, which is right by Samura and Chihiro. Awesome reveal. This was super cool. I was so pumped up whenever I saw this, and the overall direction of this chapter was great. It really pushed me from page to page, and the reveal at the end was just super cool. I love the matching panels of the pre and post teleportation. It was a really cool effect. And I hope that the mangaka is okay. I hope that he was able to get rest and that he's doing this in a healthy manner. Okay, I'll admit to you all, I had no idea what was going on in JJK around the culling time arc and basically everything after it. The last fights with Sukuna got, well, okay, they got really silly by the end, you have to admit. So I did sour a bit on JJK, but I have been giving this spinoff a chance, as the story does seem quite different. That said, I'm not sold on it just yet. This week's chapter focused mainly on the takoyaki party and more of a cultural exchange of the understanding of cursed energy. Geje seems intent on pushing forward this idea of converting cursed energy into, well, energy. There is a funny shoujo manga-esque moment in this chapter, which I wasn't expecting, that got me to laugh, and it seems like the exchange will not continue to go well based on how the chapter ended. This spin-off seems to be building slow, which is fine because the property is extremely popular. It has some wiggle room to really build up where it's going. That being said, for me, it just seems to be kind of meandering and dropping random Easter eggs for super fans. As someone who isn't one, it just not going to be near the top of the list for me yet, and in fact will probably continue to keep dropping as I'm kind of keeping it this high for just being the legacy JJK thing. Talk about a new series that interested me right off the bat. I do like The Mage Next Door so far, even though it is early, and it goes to show just how early I wanted to read it. Our slacker mage Oshoegawa is just trying to nap, but the divine magus has sent a waifu to join the gang. It turns out she's really bad at summoning magic, which is what her family is known for, but our slacker is just the right guy for her to unlock her true potential. I like the new girl's energy so far, and she clearly has the potential to really help out based on all the work that she puts in, but she'll also bring a more of a straight man realism, I imagine, because so far he's basically just been enabled by like the mini magus character, which again is really cute and is a merchandising opportunity for sure. But I think it'll be good to have that sort of balance. Okay, guys, send the positive vibes to Shueisha. Just send them. I really like this mangaka. I think this series has promise. Please do not let Axe-kun find this series. Please, send your money, send your vibes. I don't care. Keep it going. These names are going to be hard. Oter is chatting with Filga in his mind space, and the elves are in the middle of their fight with Colerio and the spirit he's controlling. Nordir and the wind spirit One-san show off their skills. Oter is also doing something with the tree with his fire, and he drops that he's going to be sharing some of his backstory in the next chapter. I like the action sequences. I think that the art is really dynamic, and there's some really cool paneling that goes on. I will say that it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more context during the fighting sequences, just to keep the fight in your mind's eye. It's sometimes hard to follow where people are in relation to what. That being said, I've been really enjoying this current arc. Do not axe this series, please. This series and Ultimate Exorcist, which I'll get to later, fall into a category of just solid series that I enjoy reading every week. Really like never leaving a 6 or a 7, basically. Not incredible, but not bad. Just solid, but a good solid. That being said, this week, our ninja boy is confronted with a surprise fiance. She's an One-san type who is way over the top, but we find out that it's just an act, which isn't uncommon for the ninjas in this manga, honestly. Does this come out of nowhere? Heck yes! Do we get some pretty cool panels with nice art? Heck yes! Did I laugh at the last page? Yes, I did. Keep cooking, Sensei. Stop it. Stop making Hina suffer. Stop it. Stop it. Also, was that a ghost, Kyo? Was he really there? Was he there or was he not there? Was he in Taiki's head? I don't understand. I'm just so confused. I don't know where she's going with this story. Just can we get it back on track, please? Man, Chinatsu Senpai is just the best. She cheers up our boy Taiki exactly when he needs it and exactly the way that he needs it. But I'll be honest, I have not been as happy with the series post Chinatsu's Stephen Curry, LeBron James moment. At the time that arc was ending, this was consistently a first 5 read. And now I just don't know how to feel. I know that we can get this back on track, guys. I know we can get there. Just stop it with the Hina stuff. Just please. I love that Ruri pulled a fast one here when she asked Kuruma to tutor her, when actually she meant for her and all of her friends to be tutored. That's a real power move. I'm happy this series is keeping its slice of life vibe, even after introducing all of these dragon things and all the fantasy elements. It's fun watching Ruri slowly try to make friends with her classmates and just all of their reactions to her and everything that she is and everything that she's doing. I also love that this Kurumi guy was sort of forced to get pushed out of his comfort zone, but it all works out for him in the end. It's a really nice message. Nice. So in this chapter, Kiyoshi's cover is blown in the demon world. It also introduces a sadist older sister type. Gotta say, this is not my favorite trope, but she's supposed to be a villain, so whatever. The gang have decided to go on a preemptive offensive against the siblings rather than let the fight go to them, so they crash into the eldest daughter's castle. This series is so silly, but in a good way. Always good for a laugh. Okay, I love a good rom-com. Don't get me wrong. But something about this series has just started feeling blah. It's not because it's a harem, though. Maybe it's just because the main character is just being so, not bad exactly, indecisive, dense, annoying. I'm just describing harem protagonists, aren't I? Anyway, it's Kana's turn this week, and she gets to study in front of him and use the gift that he got her to ask him out on a movie date. Also, she flashes her swimsuit magazine in front of him. Look, I know there's different cultures and all that, but it does feel really weird to be sexualizing high schoolers this explicitly. Just putting that out there. Honestly surprised, 1, that this is a serialized manga, and 2, that I find it as enjoyable as I do. It's a cute story, and I'll probably keep moving it up my read order at this rate. Also, the one-liner prompts in the comments is just fun. I've genuinely enjoyed how the community of people that are reading this manga are basically acting as the main characters are and responding in the comments. It really adds to the experience. This week, Mime notices that Mizuo is sick because she isn't talking in non-sequitur one-liners all the time, so he takes her to the nurse's office. They walk home and they have a cute moment where they agree to wait to listen to their favorite show together. It's another really cute chapter, but I'm bummed that we didn't get another one-liner prompt. Nico is back to her normal form and Chami is guest starring. It's her first time seeing high school Nico and they decide to watch a live stream together. Oh, I wonder what wacky hijinks they'll get into this time. Wait, there's plot! Streamer dude blurts out Jura's real name on his live stream to over 1 million people and reveal that he's a warlock. He also shows off a team of warlocks. Wow! The last panel says that Witch Watch Part 3, Witches and Warlocks, is going to begin. You know, is the endgame starting? I'm not sure, guys. You never really know what to expect with Witch Watch. Sometimes it's just a random, one-shot story, and then the next week, hey, here comes plot. Just take the plot. I thought that the first chapter was kind of cute, and this one was kind of cute as well. I'm curious to see where this one is headed. I do think it's funny in moments, but I'm not sure if it's funny enough. And I'm not sure that the characters are good enough yet for this to have a long run. Let's see. I get the feeling with this series that the characters are copy-pasted on the backgrounds. Like they don't feel like they belong in the backgrounds in which they're in. I don't know if this is like an intentional stylistic choice, or I don't know if it's just like a mismatch of artists. That being said, I give the series credit for its commitment to backgrounds because most of it has backgrounds in it, and the art is not bad. In my opinion, the main characters and the baddies are a little over-designed. It's also not really hooking me yet. I'm not feeling a long stay with this series, honestly, but let's see. So those are all the chapters that I read. Let me quickly go over the chapters that I skipped. I did not give this one enough of a fair shake on my first read through. Clearly, this has a lot going for it as a series, so I'm going to give it another shot. If it's good enough to catch up, I'll move this up, but I will start the catch-up process and see where it goes. How does this manga have 123 chapters? How is this possible? This was such an easy drop. Am I going to have to read this series? 123 chapters. Gah! It's just mid. If mid was a manga. If you asked to create a mid baseball manga. That was my impression of it. If it gets past 40 chapters, I'll give it another look in. Maybe. I haven't even read one chapter of this. It's been running since before I got really involved into the weekly updates. I feel like I know what it is. I just don't think it's for me. At all. I should give it at least a few chapters worth of a try. I know the covers of the manga volumes are kind of funny, but they also just make me want to read better manga. I mean, I could be wrong. This series could be great. I could be missing out on something that's awesome, and I'll give it a shot. But from what I've seen, it's not for me, guys. It's not for me. Anyway, thank you all for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys agreed with me. Let me know if you disagreed with me. I'm going to put my overall rankings of all of the series that I read over here. And let me know if there's anything that you'd move higher, if you'd move lower. And let me know if any of the series that I'm not reading right now is something that I definitely should prioritize, because there's definitely a lot there that I would have to read if I wanted to catch up and get back on the weeklies. I've felt fairly confident about my drops, except for the Elusive Samurai. I've kind of felt for a long time I just dropped that a little bit too quickly. I think I was a little bit... I didn't give it enough of its due, and I wasn't sure that it was going to be... I wasn't sure how long it was going to be running. I didn't know if it was going to be like a short running series, but clearly it's been going on for a long time. So I do want to give it a shot. Please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. See you next Sunday.